On the fast approaching debt ceiling deadline, Republicans are proposing a bill to extend the deadline, which includes major spending cuts. Democrats say the bill would slash funding for programs like Meals on Wheels and even veterans' health benefits. But it's not just Democrats who are against the bill. 4 Republicans voted against it. One of those no votes comes from Colorado Congressman Ken Buck. Our Rob Harris spoke with Congressman Buck today about his opposition to the bill.
So you were one of only 4 Republican members of Congress to vote against this bill. Tell us why.
Yeah, because the Democrat budget, if you project out 10 years, brought us to $58 trillion of debt, which is absolutely absurd. The Republican plan brought us to $53 trillion of debt, which is almost as absurd as the $58 trillion. And in reality, there's not a whole lot of difference between those two in terms of our ability to operate the functions that people have become accustomed to in this country.
The plan passed by House Republicans would increase the debt limit by $1.5 trillion, but it would cut funding for federal agencies down to levels from the 2022 fiscal year. It would also limit growth in spending to 1% per year and block money for student debt cancellation and new IRS funding. Senate Democrats say the bill is dead on arrival, and President Biden wants a debt limit increase with no preconditions. Aren't these discussions that should be happening with the budget later this year and not with the debt ceiling, which is essentially 4 bills we've already incurred?
So there's a relationship between spending and debt. The more we spend, the more debt we have. And the only leverage point that Kevin McCarthy and the Republican conference have for dealing with the out of control spending that's going on right now in Washington, D.C. is the debt limit. You know, I think that both sides have to give, and we have to find a way to control our spending. I don't think we're going to default. I think we're going to come to a compromise. We're not that far apart, honestly, on the compromise.
Let's say in 2025, Donald Trump or another Republican wins the election, is in the White House. Do you vote no on a similar debt limit proposal, even under Republican Congress then?
Yeah, I voted no when Donald Trump was president during his 4 years before. And I will vote no in the future if we don't have responsible spending.
So the bill as it stands now is unlikely to reach President Biden. It now heads to the Democrat-controlled Senate, which is unlikely to take it up. President Biden has a meeting scheduled for next week with congressional leaders of both parties.